Dan Illman, Mike Beer kicking off a pick four at Remington Park on Friday, which is going to have a $200,000 guaranteed pool. Here's the field for race number 10. It's the She's All In Stakes. We're going a mile and 70 yards for fillies and mares. An open stake, $100,000 is the purse. The 7 Marion Francis is stakes placed this year. She's the 9-5 morning line favorite, Mike, but I have a feeling Casual, the 6, is going to take some money, and I wouldn't be surprised at all if grade 1 placed Paige Ann also gets some play.
Yeah, it feels like the 5's got to take a little more money than that. I won't argue that the 7 could wind up being the favorite in here. Coming off a win for Brad Cox, and that win was going long at Keeneland last time. I didn't feel like she necessarily stood out in this field, though.
The one My Bets is just a very consistent runner. She shows up each and every time. She's hit the board in 11 of 13 starts. She just couldn't seal the deal last time out at Churchill Downs, beaten a neck in a starter allowance. Again, a very likable filly, but the kind of filly, as we take a look from the Timeform US pace projector, is going to hope for some pace up front, and that blue bar scenario doesn't bode well for My Bets as she steps up in class.
It really doesn't. It's hard to knock her recent form anyway, Dan. Her last 6 starts, she's been in the exacta, and all 6 of them, 3 of those are wins. She's just right there every time. It does feel like she's taken a pretty significant step up in class here, though.
Connections have done a nice job with a long shot. The number 2, Lady Gwen, a $5,000 yearling. This twirling candy filly's banked over $170K, and she scored in this off-turf race at Remington on October the 14th. Now, she has spent the majority of her career on the turf, but as we see Lady Gwen, she seemed to like this field at the very least that she was facing, and she draws clear once she passes the pace setter at the 3/16.
I suppose it could be a positive that she finally at least picked up her feet on dirt this time. Her first 2 dirt starts of her career, which did come, a couple of years ago. So maybe she's just a totally different horse now. I mean, they were terrible performances. This one was certainly better, obviously against a weaker field.
It'll be the dirt debut for the 3 Island Hideaway, going out for high percentage trainer Carl Broberg, and Julian Leperoux takes the mount. This horse has that European turf pedigree, but she has done some good work on synthetic surfaces overseas. To me, it's how close can she stay to the pace. Sometimes when they try dirt for the first time, they get outrun a bit by the faster fractions.
Yeah, it's a real concern to me as well. What kind of trip can she pull in this race? I mean, if nothing else, I guess she's a wild card, Dan. I mean, she does have some talent. She's not my kind of horse from a betting perspective. I don't think I really want to have any money on her, but she does have some ability.
She's All Wolf, the number 4, is the daughter of the race's namesake. She's All In, and she's a pretty good Oklahoma bred in her own right. She's All Wolf. She loves Remington Park. 5 for 8 lifetime. Now, 2 starts back, I thought Richard Arami gave her a really nice ride. Saved ground, got to the outside, and it looked like She's All Wolf hung. She made the lead, and maybe she couldn't seal it. It was disappointing to me that she lost. Last time out, the trip wasn't as good. Let's watch She's All Wolf, who was 4 wide tracking on the backstretch, 5 wide all the way through the turn. She's eventually going to make the lead, and I don't fault her for losing this one because the horse that beat her saved all the ground.
Yeah, it was a slow pace too. She's wide off of a slow pace. The winner just sat in behind the entire way. That's the 4 there getting through on the inside, and is going to outfinish her. I guess it's enough of an excuse, Dan, if you want to go back to her. I sort of had the same feeling you did about her race 2 back, though. That one's a little bit harder to forgive. I don't know. She could win this race. I would want a pretty big price on her if I was going to bet it.
She's drifted inwards in her last 2 races during the stretch. That concerns me a bit, but she does have a bit of a home court advantage. Here's Paige Ann, a very likable filly. First time for trainer John Ennis. Lasix back on, blinkers off. She was 3rd behind She Dares the Devil in the grade 1 Clement Hirsch over the summer. Since then, she's been in stakes competition. She's run just fine. She just seems to fit this race like a glove.
Yeah, it's a good spot for her. Is California speed still a thing? I feel like this horse.
It used to be. It used to be but wasn't that when D Wayne off the plane?
Yeah, exactly. I haven't heard it in a while, but it used to be a thing. They just got to put this horse on the front. Listen, her recent form is fine. It's obviously been against some really nice horses. Even when they shipped her here, though, last year, then they shipped her here for that Remington Oaks last year. I thought she ran really well in that race.
She certainly did, and she ran against a horse en Voutante that if she was in this race would be a heavy, heavy favorite. And if you do go back to the Timeform US Pace Projector earlier on in this video, you'll see that they have Paige Ann loose on a very comfortable pace situation. 5-1 seems like a very fair price. Casual, on the other hoof, is the kind of filly that might like to race from a little bit further back. Now, she hasn't stretched out around 2 turns since this race last year, where she made a bid and she flattened out. She ran okay, I thought, at Pimlico in the spring, when second to Chubwagon. She fell far behind. She came with a run. She's a bit of a nibbler, Mike, and she's lost at odds on in her last 2.
Yeah, I mean, to me, she's just not the kind of horse I would ever want, 2-1 on, even against a field like this one, Dan. She's a closing sprinter stretching out. The one time they did try to do in this race last year, that's sort of kind of what you get with horses like her. They make the run and they just can't kind of see out the distance. She's not for me, especially if she takes a lot of money in this race. But obviously, she has races that would make her tough.
Marion Francis is solid. I'm not sure solid's going to make me want to play her if she goes off at 9-5, but she's coming in good form off of this race at Keeneland, 2 other than going a mile and a 16th. And what I liked about this performance is she's coming from last. She alters course to the outside. It's a short stretch, and she has enough kick to run these horses down. She has figs 2 and 3 back that make her very dangerous. This was sort of a slower race.
It was, yeah, she does have faster races to get to, though, so I suppose that could work to her advantage. I thought she ran fine last time, Dan. I also felt like she got a great setup there. They went fast early. You could see everybody sort of closing at the end there, and she's the one who got up. I thought this race would set up a little bit differently. I don't think she's going to be, such a heavy favorite in here that you have to totally stand against her, but I still don't want her at a short price.
Content the 8's going to be a big price. She does have a lot of upside potential as a lightly raced 3-year-old filly. Let's watch her 3 life allowance at Remington last time out. Stretching back out in distance, she just doesn't have a lot of early speed. And this is what she is. She's going to come with a pretty strong run in this race to only miss by a length. I do believe this filly has potential. But if you go back and you look at the Timeform US Pace Projector, that works against her. And maybe from a class standpoint, it works against her as she steps way up into the stakes ranks.
Yeah, her running style is a real problem in this race. So we'll see what happens with her. I mean, her overall form, I actually like some of her races, Dan. I just don't necessarily like her in this spot.
Fun race to kick off a $200,000 guaranteed pool in the pick 4 at Remington on Friday. Let's take a look at our top picks. Pace makes the race. Paige Ann, Lasix on, could be loose on the lead. Very, very tough. She's my second pick. I have to use, you're betting her at 5-1, right?
Yeah, I don't think she's going to be 5-1, but if she is, I would certainly bet her at that price. I thought she had to take more money than that. I thought about putting your horse on top too, Dan. I couldn't get past the race 2 starts back, but she did get unlucky last time.
It's fair enough to worry about the race 2 starts back because it looked like she had that one in her hip pocket and it was stolen away from her. But I think the trip last time out showed that she can still run a little bit. And I like her getting back out to 2 turns. A little home cooking with the local horse, the 4 She's All Wolf, the daughter of She's All In. She'll try to win the She's All In at Remington on Friday. It's the 10th. Good luck.